And welcome to another episode of the Bandit Room. My name is Charles. I'm joined here in the studio today by Mr. Caleb.
Hello again.
Across the table from me is our CEO, Mr. Aggie.
What's up?
How are you?
I'm good, man.
Good. You're sitting next to our guest today, Mr. Cole Mckibbin. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, sure.
You gotta give us call sign, Maverick.
Maverick. I'm sorry. Should have introduced him that way. We have Maverick in the studio today.
Careful, my head's not going to fit out the door.
He's sitting over there in the aviators, just
Right?
No, is Mr. Cole Mckibbin. We know you from your role at Skytech here in Rock Hill, regional sales manager for Skytech. Tell us about that company. What do you do?
Yeah, so Skytech's a company. We're based actually out of the Baltimore, Maryland area, but have an office here in Rock Hill and have another office, actually a sales office up in Rhode Island. So we handle sales for two different types of aircraft, Piper and Pilatus. You know, Aggie has a Piper. But we handle Piper and Pilatus for a good portion of the East Coast. South kind of through Maine is kind of our territory for Piper, and then Pilatus we kind of have like a mid-Atlantic region.
Okay.
So handle those, do sales and service on those aircraft, and lucky enough to be in a sales role there. So I really enjoy that.
Okay. You haven't always been in sales. How did you get?
Not.
What did you start?
I graduated college in 2018 from Clemson University, and went from there to into Skytech, and we started in 2018 full time. I flew a Pilatus on charter for them starting out, and truly enjoyed that role, loved that opportunity, but like the interaction with people more than the don't say I dislike the flying. I love the flying, but I like the interaction with people, so I like the sales role for sure. It's a lot of fun.
Gotcha. So you started out flying essentially private charters. Okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Now, when I first heard the name Skytech, I thought that sounds like a name that Aggie wish he had thought of for a product. You could very well have called Span Skytech.
I love the aviation themed.
We got the aviation themed office.
Yeah.
We're in tech.
Yep.
So, So tell us. Okay. So Skytech, you do several different things. So you're both selling planes. You maintaining.
Yep.
People who own planes, things like that.
Yeah, so we kind of have, we call it, it's to steal a line from our CEO, it's the milk stool. So we have three different legs that kind of support Skytech: sales, service, and then charter. So we do all three of those, up and down the East Coast. We do some charter out west, but not so much. Mostly up and down the East Coast, getting people to and from Florida. It seems like is the most common thing.
Gotcha. Now, in our our extensive research team that we have here at the Bandit Room, we discovered an old newspaper interview that you did when you were, I want to say you were 16 years old or something like that.
Yeah, and
you had already
hold on. That photo is when you were 16?
Isn't that crazy?
Dude, I thought you were 6 years old.
It looks like it's 6 years old.
Isn't that great?
I mean, I should be clear. He looks like he's about 18 right now. So
Hold on. Go ahead. I'm going to look up that. I'll click on the link.
So tell me, how early did you start flying? You started flying at 14?
Yep, started flying at 14.
Is that legal?
Yeah. You have to be 16 to solo. So I used to have my mom drive me to the airport so I could go fly an airplane by myself.
Couldn't drive a car yet.
No. It's started flying. It's 14. Got my soloed at 16. You have to get your license at 17. So I got my license there at 17. Went to Clemson for industrial engineering, but I kept flying on the side, and flew all through college, and had just very fortunate, very lucky, but met some people that had airplanes, but didn't really interest in flying. So I flew them around in college to help with that a little bit. So
So you were involved in college as well. Is that a like a club or something?
Yeah, we had. So Clemson has the a little plug to Clemson here. I love the orange in the office, by the way. So that's great. But it's Clemson has the oldest flying club in the country. It's 1927, and they actually built their first airplane, which is hard to believe that a whole bunch of college kids built an airplane, and it actually flew.
Yeah.
But it's incredible. I think that airplane hangs down in the museum down in Columbia now. So I think it's hanging from a ceiling in somewhere in Columbia.
Huh.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Fascinating.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Charles, did you know that?
I didn't know that, and I should because...
What kind of research department did you
Because I went to a smaller school called Erskine, and our mascot is the Flying Fleet.
Okay.
So, but no airplanes on campus.
The Flea?
Flying Fleet.
Oh, okay.
Fleet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he said the flea.
I thought that's what I heard too. The Flying Flea. I was like, oh,
that's what it is.
So what do you guys use your mascot for? Like, do you guys have a sports team?
Yeah, they have sports teams.
Like what? What do you play? Curling?
They have everything. They have soccer. They now have football, baseball, things like that.
It's not a small college then.
No, it's small. It's like 1,000 students.
Yeah,
it's pretty small.
Where is that?
Due West, South Carolina.
Oh, not to confuse with North South Carolina.
No, yeah, not to be confused. There's a whole bit about that. So yeah, let's get back to your 14-year-old self learning to fly. This is just the wildest thing to me. So how did you get interested in that?
So I had a neighbor when I was growing up, and their dad was an airline pilot, and they had this game on their computer called Microsoft Flight Simulator, which I'm sure Aggie is familiar with.
I still have it.
Yeah.
I got the old one and the new one.
I haven't even played the new one, but
you started at 14. I mean, it had to be a pretty older version of it.
Yeah, there was what was it called? I remember I had the advanced pack. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Came in a bunch of CDs.
Yep. Yeah. It's like 4 CDs to install it.
Yeah.
No, I started playing that at their house, and my dad had a friend that had a little 172, a tiny little trainer airplane, and went for a flight, and I was like, I've got to do this. This is the coolest thing ever.
Okay, so your neighbor was a pilot. You didn't have like a family history of like, oh yeah, we're all pilots.
No, actually, I was the only pilot in my family until I didn't know this. Actually, my great grandfather, after he passed away, he had his pilot's license. Oh, it's pretty cool. I actually still have it, and the paper is like leathered at this point. It's totally falling apart, but it's pretty neat. I have his old pilot's license, and then my dad actually got his license after I had mine. Okay. We went down. I flew the whole family down to the Bahamas for spring break one year. Nice. And we're coming back from spring break, and my dad's sitting up front with me, and he's like, "I should know something about what's going on up here." Right. So he went and got his license. Nice. He doesn't really fly really that much at all, but he does have his license. So.
Wow, that's interesting.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, your work with Skytech. So is that kind of your primary role after college? You started at Skytech.
So I interned for a summer when I was in college. I worked, kind of wanted to do aircraft sales. I don't know why, but I always thought aircraft sales would be really cool. Interesting. And interned with a couple people while I was in college, and then ended up interning with Skytech the summer of 2017-18, right before 2017. Interned with them, and I actually worked in the maintenance shop with mechanics there. Worked under their supervision, obviously, but did some work in there, the small stuff there, and just found a place that I like, and it's a great family feel. So happy to be there.
Nice. So, did they add a role for you to fit in there, or did you take over from someone?
So I started. They kind of added for me when I interned. I was the first intern they ever had. So I interned for a summer there. I was the first intern they had. And then afterwards, they kind of made a role for me, sort of. We had a gentleman who was a retired pilot, and we'd call in when we needed him to help fly in the shop, to help fly, customers around, things like that. And I ended up taking kind of a full-time role doing that when I started.
Nice. Interesting. So you've got a lot of practical experience, and you also got your... what was your degree in? Is it engineering?
Industrial engineering. So got the technical side, but not really using the engineering side. So,
where do you think was more valuable, the practical experience or getting your study in engineering?
Practical experience for sure. I don't. I love the engineering. It teaches you how to think. Yeah. But it's I'm not going solving differential equations or crazy things like that. So,
do you think it made you better at what you do to have that background?
I do. It's nice. A lot of industrial engineers end up in a technical sales role, and it's nice to have the ability to talk to that technical side. Mm-hmm. So I quite like that. Gotcha. And then I am actually in school still now, going back for my MBA at Wake Forest right now. So that's all online.
No interest in going into like commercial aviation?
No, I did. Beginning. No, I can see the draw. I absolutely can see the draw, and I think there's a lot of value in doing that. And I think it'd be fun. But I like the interactions of talking with people as opposed to I don't want to say it's I kind of feel like you're more like a bus driver. I hate I don't want to say that like a bad thing, but I just feel like I enjoy the interactions more.
Do you have a favorite aircraft that you've ever flown, or a most memorable aircraft?
I've had, a good friend of mine owns a 1940s vintage Stearman. Wow. Which is a World War II trainer aircraft. That's cool. He bought it actually as a wreck and rebuilt the airplane and put put a little bit of a bigger motor on it.
Yeah.
Almost twice the horsepower. And so it's a little more fun now.
Right.
Nice.
But no, that's a fun airplane. It's a lot of fun.
I always wonder, how do people find time to do that stuff? No, not just your friend.
No,
I know
exactly,
people
yeah.
who like, oh, I bought this and I'm rebuilding this car from 1964. Like, when do you do it?
Yeah.
You have nights and weekends, right?
I no, I don't. I mean, to do that, you have to like finish work
Yes.
at a specific time, go home, have dinner or whatever, and then boom, get on with it. And you do that a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
That's dedication. I'm not into that. You live in Rock Hill, Cole?
I do. Yeah.
Right on. How long you been living in Rock Hill?
Moved here for work in 2018.
Right.
Nice.
You're originally from Asheville, right?
Yeah, just outside, little town. My parents still live in Flat Rock.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm familiar with
Why
that.
are you
Yeah.
excited about that, Charles?
I've been to Bunclarkin a bunch of times.
You've seen both stoplights in Flat Rock. then.
Yeah. I'm familiar. I love Flat Rock. I love.
So the other day when I was 3 weeks ago now, when I was flying to Tennessee,
Okay.
I didn't get up. It was very bumpy and pretty strong headwinds. So I didn't get a chance to really look at Asheville Airport flying over the mountains. But on the way back, I had more than enough time. Plus, I was on the left side. I didn't realize Asheville has only one runway.
Yeah.
And then if you're approaching it from the west, so you come in and you take a right just around the mountain through that valley and then go straight in?
It's there's definitely some terrain around there.
So if it is a right base, it's okay. Otherwise, you got to come around the mountain.
Yep. Usually people fly through the valley there, kind of like over Brevard area, and come down to start descending over Transylvania area.
Huh.
Interesting.
I was looking at that and like, if we were using that, that would be pretty cool to come in and do a right base and join the final.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's very
Yeah.
pretty. Go up there in the fall and look at the leaves.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might do that. Yeah. I'm gonna go flying again. I haven't done anything in like some weeks. So.
So do you have a plane that you can take, or would you just in that situation like charter?
So the Clemson Flying Club, we had 3 airplanes in the Flying Club, and they were very reasonable with their rates. It was like $80 an hour, which is incredible for
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you were paying for your hourly rate there down at school, but
It was like $280.
yeah.
That's
not
cool.
cheap.
How many people are in a flying club?
We had probably 30 people that are active, which, I don't know, it seems like a lot.
That's
It
a
was-
lot. Yeah.
Right on. So now, what kind of aircraft do you own now?
Well, the bank owns it. Let's be real here.
Well, the one you keep in your hangar.
You have access to it.
But
Yeah.
you have the keys to.
Okay.
It's a pressurized Cessna 210.
Okay.
So
So tell us
can you
about that.
go ahead.
Yeah. So how long have you had it?
had that. Let's see, about 2 years, a little over 2 years now. So
is that your first plane, or did you have one before that?
I had one before.
Okay.
It's actually I had a 182 before, and then ended up with a 210, and then actually had a pressurized 210. So I'm on my third now, I guess.
Okay.
But this one, you said, from what I can remember from a previous conversation, is this is not like a stock 82. It's custom built one. Is that what that?
It's been modified a little bit. Yeah.
Modified. Let's have the correct terms here. Don't want anyone to get in trouble.
It's got a Rolls-Royce turboprop on the front of it. So instead of a 300 horsepower from the factory, it's about 450.
No way.
Nice.
So a little bit faster.
Wow. All right.
Burns a little more gas though.
Yeah.
What's the cruise speed on it?
About 200 knots, 205 knots.
My plane can't even do that
Oh wow.
on full speed. Just by myself, I can't do it.
Maybe pointing down.
Pointing down. counting grass. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I don't think my plane can handle 200 knots. It'll probably break apart, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
One of those wheel pants may exit.
Yeah.
But that'll speed you up because you'll be lighter.
How about my next plane? Can that do that?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Boom. That's what
Yeah.
we're looking for.
And that's what we're here for. Exactly.
Yes, sir. That's what we're gonna do. That's exactly what we want to do. Now, talk about like people who go from flight school.
Mm-hmm.
Would you go to flight school, or did you do?
I did it on my own on the side.
Okay.
So I learned to fly at the Hendersonville Airport with a gentleman. Actually, I floated around there with a couple different instructors, just based on who was there and who wasn't. But
Right.
a guy named Greg Collins finished me up.
Okay.
And I got to just give him a little plug here. He does a 2-week course where you can go to him and get your license in 2 weeks. So
Charles,
full-time job really to do it in 2 weeks.
Why didn't you hear about this?
I know a lot of people like that, but for my attention span, I need structure.
You need
I had to go to school.
You needed school.
That's a full-time job to do it in 2 weeks. I can't imagine doing it that quickly, but yeah.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah, for my instrument, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down to Charleston. They have a 5-day fast-tracked instrument course, so I'm going to do that. Now, so you didn't go to, for all your ratings, you didn't go to any school at all?
No, I did through, it wasn't really a school. It was Greg owned the airplane that I learned to fly in. So used Greg's airplane, learned to fly in it, and then did my instrument rating with Greg, and then commercial, and everything's been on the side with, using friends' airplanes or whatnot. For my multi, I did go to a flight school in Greenville, just because I couldn't find a multi-engine airplane otherwise, but yeah.
Right. That's pretty cool, man. You didn't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars like myself and other people have done.
So how would you recommend somebody go through doing something like that? If
just go to your local airport and start talking to people. Really, it's you go to the front desk at the airport and say, I want to learn to fly. Who do I talk to? And they'll know who to go to, whether it be a actual flight school at your airport or a little one-man band. It's
Charles, not everyone is a Maverick. It's only 2 Mavericks.
Not everybody can do it.
That's only 2 Mavericks out there. One we've never met. Second one we met.
It's right here.
Careful again. My head's not going to throw this door.
Now, so was there a point when you got your commercial and ATP? Like, did you knew that you were never going into commercial airlines, or you got your certification and it's like, that's not what I want to do?
No, I don't know. I wanted to go into sales. I always had I loved talking to people, loved doing that, and was just thrilled to have found a place at Skytech, and Skytech's a great little spot, great family feel, and just thrilled to be part of their team.
Right.
So I would say that's a big reason I didn't go to the airlines, just because I found the right fit. I felt like just feel like home. I know it's cheesy to say, but it feels like home. So
right.
Nice.
Well, that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. Now, did you ever train anyone else to fly?
So I do have my flight instructor rating, but I've never gotten someone all the way through their rating. So I have helped people along the way, to get a high performance endorsement or things like that. But I've not taken someone all the way through, and I hope to. I really would like to do that at some point.
Okay.
But we'll,
The reason I was asking with that is do you do any volunteer work like our Rock Hill flight?
Yes, I do work. That's the oh goodness,
the name now. David Griffin
Foundation.
Yeah. Do you spend any time there, anything like that?
No, but I do volunteer with the EAA chapter here in town. And
961.
961.
Yep.
It's a great group of people.
Are you a member of that?
I am. Yep.
I never seen you over there.
No,
because I'm never there.
But no, it's a great group of people over there. We do they do a trash pickup every I think
Saturday?
once a month
on Saturdays.
Once a month on Saturdays. So we participate in that. 961 chapters. It's a great group of people.
Right.
They do that, and they also volunteer. They do a big every so often they do a big Young Eagles fly. So trying to get people under 17 is kind of the age limit there, but try to get them involved in aviation. So it's pretty cool.
That's a pretty good thing. I've seen some pictures of some kid who got to fly for the first time, and they're the big smile on the face. That's pretty good, man.
The due date to file your personal tax return 1040 is April 18th, 2023. File Form 4868 today and save yourself from the last-minute rush. You can get a 6-month extension by filing Form 4868. Go to expressextension.com today and e-file in minutes.
And we're back.
All right.
We've tapped into our Jack Daniel's single barrel that was a gift from our last guest, Mr. John Wild, John the bourbon guy.
I call him John the bourbon man. Or is it a dude? So what did you guys drink when he was here?
He was generous enough to bring a bottle of Rip Van Winkle.
What?
Yeah, that was an experience. I don't think I'd even seen a bottle of that before.
And I was over here like, what is this?
we were unworthy of the gift.
Cheers, boys.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome, Cole.
Thank you.
I guess pilots are not flying today, so we are not flying today.
Not too shabby.
For
Yeah,
a
that's
Jack Daniels,
nice.
it's pretty good.
Yeah. Honestly, I've never had one of the single barrels from Jack Daniels. But
Yeah.
That's nice.
So I thought it was pretty cool once upon a time to say, Jack on the rocks, please.
Yeah.
Now, if I was in Louisville last week as a joke, I said that.
Yeah. People like,
Jack on the rocks in the
what the
barrel
hell are you
bar."
doing? Get out of here.
But the bartender and both my friends on the side, they're like,
The record scratches.
they're like, what the? They're like, what?
People are doing spit takes across the bar.
I said, I was just trying. But I was in Louisville last week. Again, pretty much went to the same bars. But ended up going on a tour of the Angel's Envy distillery. I didn't realize they're not that old. They came up with the idea only in 2005, and the factory they took over old building and converted that in 2013 and 2015. Bacardi bought them out.
Oh, okay.
So everything is new. So my idea or my experience of going to a brewery or a distillery is like, it's old, like I went to the Miller distillery up in Milwaukee, and it's old. Everything is like hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
Have you been to any of the ones in Asheville?
No, I don't think I've ever been to Asheville and stayed there.
Okay.
I've shot weddings there. I don't know if you know, I used to be a photographer. So I shot weddings there, but I don't think I ever stayed a night there. So so it's like, so I went to this one. It was nice, very clean, and the tour was great, and blah, blah, blah. And then it was more towards going to the gift shop and buying stuff.
Yeah.
That's what they push it towards.
Yeah.
I ended up getting a bottle of Angel's Envy and having it engraved for my 9th show.
Nice.
So that was pretty good. And they had small wine tasting. But one thing we learned bourbon tasting, which I've been to a bunch of bourbon tasting, but nobody's ever talked about this or played with this much, is you take the bourbon, and then you take the very first sip you keep it in your mouth for like almost 60 seconds. You gargle, And then after that, every time you take a sip, the taste, you start to taste all the different ingredients in there. Finally, what the guy was explaining, the first one you take and you keep it in your mouth for like about 60 seconds, that burns, the mouth is, I guess, burnt. So when you're taking the second sip, it's not burning anymore. You're just tasting the liquor.
So you got to burn it in.
Burn in. You got to, burn in, like a burnt-in steak.
When John was here last week, we were doing a blind tasting with him, and he was doing a lot of what you're referring to. He'd take a sip and he'd go come, and he would call it a Kentucky chew. It's a Kentucky chew where you're just kind of like just tasting the lingering flavors that are in there. But, yeah.
And so they told us to experience it. It was fantastic. Even someone like ADD like me, I was able to taste all the different stuff coming through the second sip and the third sip. It was unbelievable. Yeah.
Interesting.
Another bar trick. Now, you said you like bourbon, Cole. Is that your preferred drink, or what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I do like a bourbon every now and then. I would say, rum is probably what I really go for. I like rum. Yeah.
So I got introduced to sipping rum.
Yep.
For the first time. Again, in Louisville last week. We had dinner arranged plans at this Cuban restaurant, Havana Rumba, fantastic place. This is like my 4th time there within a year. And right next to it, it's an old house. We were like about half an hour, 40 minutes early, so we thought we'll go by there. Just walked in, said wine bar, but you go in there. But they had wine and bourbon and all that stuff. And he made an old-fashioned. It was good. And then I said, all right, I don't want to drink anymore because I was waiting to go and have my mojitos over there. They're famous for it. But the guy said, have you had this rum? I said, no, I haven't had rum in like 20 years.
Yeah.
He goes, well, you should try this. I said, well, I don't want any Coke because I don't drink soda, so I don't want any, Coke. He's like, oh, no, this is a sipping rum. And he poured me a shot, put a cube of ice on it. And it was fantastic. It was called Plantation. That was the brand. And I didn't realize there is a sipping rum category. Now I know. Is that what you do?
I like rum. Zacapa is probably my favorite.
Which one?
Zacapa.
Zacapa.
Yeah.
Never heard of it. Is it like a local one?
Mm-mm.
Where is it from?
It's, oh gosh, we had NASA, I remember.
So is it like a dark rum? Thick dark rum?
It is darker.
Right on. See, this is the cool young people are doing, Charles.
Yeah.
I need to get on with this.
Well, I knew after that movie Cocktail he did. He had to know his stuff about that.
Oh gosh.
So you live in Rock Hill, and you said your family still lives in Asheville.
Mm-hmm.
So how, since you are a pilot extraordinaire, I need to ask him, like, how often do you fly back to Asheville?
Try to get up there as often as I can. I mean, at least once a month or so.
So that tower there, do they know you when you call in?
Yeah, they probably do recognize me by now.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. There's recently I found a YouTube channel. I wish I could remember the name of the guy. He got his license recently, and I believe he's going through commercial whatnot. But he's been filming. He flies somewhere out of, I don't know, Alabama somewhere.
Okay.
And then this one airport he flies into, maybe Tuscaloosa. Every time he comes in, and he's like, "Hey, are we going to be on YouTube today?" And he's like, so they know him.
That's funny.
Comes in.
Nice.
I've gotten to where I recognize some of the Charlotte controllers. I've made actually a good friend that flew to Oshkosh with me last year. Who's an air traffic controller here in Charlotte.
Is that the guy part of our 961?
No, it is not.
Because I just saw the article, the newsletter they sent about 961. There's some traffic controller part of our group, and he's going to give a tour and stuff. So have you done any of those ATC tours?
I have. I toured the Charlotte Tower somewhat recently with my buddy that's an air traffic controller. That's worth doing. That was really cool.
Well, you think you can hook me up on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. Yeah. But I should fly that morning and see who's on duty, who was nice and who was not nice, who responded back to the good morning.
Yes, exactly.
So I told Cole about this. When I flew to Charleston a couple of weeks ago, I had a bit of a, what's the right word? Misstep when I was leaving from Charleston. I did a turn 30 degrees to the left I shouldn't have done without talking to them. But anyway, the lady controller, she was very nice. And then finally, after we went back and forth about what I was doing, what I should have done, etc., she very nicely said, "Sir, for the future." I said, "Yes, ma'am, I got it. Thank you." I have never argued with an ATC controller, but when I was flying in Florida with Daytona, I've seen so many pilots argue with them.
It's incredible.
I have no idea why.
It's
You sit there and go, "Dude, what the heck, man?"
It's like a power struggle. You're like, "I'm in the plane. I'm in the top."
I don't know. But the worst is when someone's mic gets stuck.
And it just is open.
And they don't know it's everybody is listening, especially if they are having some different conversation than other people should know. I've been in 2 incidents like that, both when in Florida, and somebody was stuck, and it was funny to listen to them. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Have you heard a air traffic controller do his whole briefing over the radio yet? Or sorry, not an air traffic controller, an airline pilot do his whole briefing over the radio?
No.
Yeah. They'll grab the wrong mic and they'll start saying, "Thanks for flying American Airlines." They're telling everyone.
That's awesome. No, I have not.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Would you want to start a YouTube channel?
Do I want to?
Yeah.
I don't want to screw up and record myself screwing up.
See, that's how other people will learn. I mean, you do so many, you fly so many different aircrafts and sales part. I don't know is anyone in the aircraft sales field doing that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Huh.
It's a good idea. I've thought about it before. It'd be, as you said, to start a YouTube channel. Anyone will watch, right?
Yeah. Well, there's things you have to do to make people watch it. You can't put a video up there and hope someone will watch it. Now, the big part of that is like, what kind of airplane you think is like your dream airplane to own, not to fly, to own, and obviously and fly, but keep it in your non-existing hangar. Because me and Cole, we both are waiting on our hangars for over 2 years.
Yes.
John, John McNamara, if you're watching this, get our hangar built, my friend. So what's the airplane that is like your dream airplane to own?
To own
and fly, yeah.
I would like, and it's one that I would never want to have to, if I could afford to own it and fly, that would be the ideal thing. I'd like a PBY. There are these massive airplanes that were used in the military used them years ago. They're flying boats. They're amphibs.
I know what you're talking about.
And
yeah.
There were a lot of people turned them into flying motorhomes basically, and put beds and couches and kitchens and all sorts of stuff. And it'd just be awesome to, fly around the islands and hop in the water and
Right on.
take a swim out the airplane. It'd be awesome.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That's interesting.
Do you have the seaplane rating?
No, I want to do that really
Let's
bad.
go do it.
Yeah,
We should go to Florida and do it.
let's do it.
I want to get that.
I do too. I really do.
Okay. There you go.
Perfect.
Just made a deal.
Make it happen. We'll check in on this later.
We-
So do you have a dream plane? Do you have any other items on the bucket list for dream flights?
Well, when I graduated college, I actually, in between starting at Skytech and graduating college, I took basically 5 weeks, and I got in my little airplane and I flew. I wanted to put my feet in both oceans, so I flew
Nice.
from Clemson to Charleston,
Yeah.
basically to like the D.C. area, and then flew all the way across the country to L.A.
Wow.
And stayed with friends. I had college friends. Stayed with a lot of them on the way, and I actually just popped a tent underneath the wing of the airplane and slept on the middle of nowhere a couple of times too.
Nice.
And flew up to Seattle and then back across the northern part, and that was an awesome trip. That was fun.
How long did that take you?
I did it in 5 weeks. I had had nowhere to be. I just told myself I want to put my feet in both oceans,
Yeah.
and just kind of winged it. And
That's
it was
cool.
cool.
it was awesome. It was great.
It's pretty good. I did a road trip from Miami all the way to LA.
Mm.
But when I got to LA, we were so tired after 3 weeks because we partied along the way. We just stayed in the hotel, went back to getting some good food and have nice drinks, and got in a plane and flew back. Didn't bother to go to the ocean. Why didn't you tell me about this, dude? You should have told me that. He probably was.
Yeah, he wasn't.
In kindergarten.
Yeah. He was at the beginning of his aviation training.
Right on, yeah. So since you were in Clemson, were you part of the Clemson football?
Actually, yeah, I was. I
Part
worked
of the team?
For, yeah. Well, I worked for the team.
Yeah.
I was there at the right time because I was there for both championships. It
Oh,
was
wow.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
But I drove the 18-wheeler to all the away games with the football equipment in it.
Oh.
He has a CDL.
Yeah.
You have a CDL
Yeah.
too?
What?
That's awesome.
You don't,
So-
with your engineering degree, could you pilot a train as well?
I haven't driven a train yet, but
Yeah.
I'm open to the idea.
We might have to just hijack a train. There's so many train derailments. We can just go take over a train any minute. There's a bunch of trains stuck around.
Yeah, it might be an improvement. Yeah.
No, it was fun. I was there. I got to all I had to do was drive the truck. So and I didn't load it. I didn't unload it. I just drove to the stadium and
That's
parked
so
it and set the
crazy.
brake and stood on the sidelines for the game. It was great. It was fun.
Is that usually a student role?
So no, the lead truck driver had an airplane at the airport, and I got to know him, got to meet him there. And he said, you want to come drive with us? I was like, sure, why not? So drove into Phoenix twice on an 18-wheeler, and that was a long, grueling drive.
Wow. You still have the CDL?
I do. Hadn't given it up. I don't plan on giving it up.
I was like,
So I was planning to get a CDL because we have a couple of software products for the trucking market. And it was like 2016, 2017 sometime. We were in downtown, and in York Community College, they have a CDL program. And the idea was I was going to go get a CDL, and we were going to film the whole thing as part of our products that we have. But then we did go in one of those learning trucks. We sat in the back, and he was showing us all the stuff. But then when we got more details into it, it's a 6-month program.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, yeah, I can't do 6 months of going to school. So that plan went out the window there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now request your full attention as Captain Cole gives us the briefing on this flight.
All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome on board Bandit Enterprises. This is Captain Cole and co-pilot Aggie speaking. Nice information about our flight. Our flight time today will be probably too short, and our estimated time of arrival is going to be this afternoon at some point. The weather is nice and hot, and we're getting ready to start summer, so, it's going to start raining.
You need to have more pause. He didn't put enough pause in
did
there.
I? Sorry.
that's right.
Like, let's see if Charles can do a captain.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's right.
Charles, do a southern captain, Charles.
So, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome on board flight blankety blank. This is Captain Hardy speaking, and I have some information about our flight. Our flight time today should be 2 hours, and estimated time of arrival would be 4:35 Eastern Time. The weather is nice today, and our forecast says it'll be sunny and happy. We recommend that if you need any special attention, all of our crew will be ready to assist you. Thanks very much.
Nice.
So, do you have any wild plane stories? Any dangerous landings? Any crazy experiences?
Nothing that I want to repeat.
Nothing.
Charles, you got to understand he's Maverick. All his landings right on the center line.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly by the book. Exactly.
Maverick's not by the book.
Maverick's not by the book.
But he does, his landings are got to be perfect. He's got to come down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once he's up in the air, he can do whatever you want. But when he's like,
I took off. I'm not even sure I had my license yet. I was, a little over 16, maybe 16 and a half, somewhere in there. And you have to be 17 to get your license. So, I was still a student pilot, still learning. And I was by myself and took off in a Aeronca Champ, which is a tiny fabric airplane. I mean, it's a tandem 2-seat airplane. No radio, no electrical system. I mean, we literally would swing the propeller by hand to start the engine.
Nice.
And I took off by myself, and I was climbing through, 400 or 500 feet off the ground, and the engine started severely surging for power. Just did get turned around and land, and my flight instructor came running out and going, "What are you doing? What are you doing out there playing with the throttle like that?" And I'm like, that wasn't me. That was not for fun. I guarantee that.
Interesting.
Here comes the lightning round. Or speed round. Faster round. Anyway, we're going to ask the guest a bunch of quicker questions. Here we go.
What's something that you would say you spend too much money on?
Airplanes.
Airplanes.
But it's not. I'm not spending too much money. It's an investment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an investment.
When you were growing up, what was your dream job, and is that still true? I think you've answered
it. It is. Yeah. I don't know how many people can say that they have found what they exactly wanted to do, but I couldn't be happier. I love what I do. It's a lot of fun.
That's pretty
Very
cool.
happy, and love everyone I work with, and it's a great group of people.
Who's your role model?
It's a tough one. I don't know. Who do I look up to? I like that answer, that question a little better. So I look up to there's a gentleman that ran Skytech for a long time. His name is John Foster. He's now retired and enjoying the retired life. I definitely look up to him, and I would like to just strive to be. He's very giving. He's a nice guy, so I hope to be like that.
If you had a TV show or a movie about your life, what actor would play you?
And, you guys have joked about this, but I get all the time, and it's funny, literally all the time, especially when I'm wearing sunglasses, I get, "You look like Tom Cruise." And I don't see it. My girlfriend doesn't see it either, but I do get that a lot.
Well, it's probably because you're around planes all the time, and you're wearing the sunglasses. And you kind of look like that.
That's the 3 requirements.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see your smile a little bit, maybe, if
Okay.
you're wearing sunglasses.
Yeah.
What's the worst advice you've ever received, and what would you give?
Worst advice ever. Work harder. Don't work harder, work smarter.
Yeah.
So my advice I'd give is work smarter, not harder.
Smarter.
Yeah.
What's something in your industry that you consider underrated?
I would say the compassion, actually, that pilots give. There's a lot of people out there that do a ton of volunteer work. There's some great nonprofits out there. One of them is called Angel Flights. So if you or a relative, are in seek of medical care and you can't, get to where you need to go, pilots will come donate their time, their own money, their airplane, their fuel to fly you where you need to go. And it's, again, at no cost. There's Pilots and Paws, which fly around, animals from shelters that need to go to different homes. And there's a lot of compassion out there. And I would say it's, it definitely is underrated a little bit, but it's awesome. It's a great group of people.
That's cool. We talked about that with Brian Cope, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
What's one thing outside of what you already do that you'd love to be an expert at?
Well, actually, since I've started my MBA, I've focused in engineering. We did a lot of math, a lot of these sciences things. I'm really enjoying the finance stuff. I really do enjoy that. It's fun. It's different than I've ever really, looked at before. So I think I would really like to learn a lot more about that and do something, on the finance side.
Very nice. And then lastly, if you could meet anyone, past or present, who would it be?
It's funny. There's a book that I read quite some time ago, but it's by a gentleman named what's his name? It's a funny name, Rinker Buck, and it's a flight of passage, and it's pretty neat. You'd like it for sure, Aggie. But it's about these two brothers that one of them's 16, one of them's 17, just got his license. The other one's like 15, and they get in their, this is in like I want to say it's in like the 40s or 50s, and they get in their dad's 1930 something Piper Cub, and they fly it from New York all the way to LA and back. Wow. And they have this is before GPS, this is before anything.
Right.
And the story it's a really good story. It's really cool. It's a great read. I love that book. They should make a movie on it, in all honesty.
Yeah.
I would love to meet those two guys and hear their stories. I think that'd be really cool.
Well done, Charles, and well done, Caleb.
Yeah,
well, Cole, do you have anything for us?
Just thank you guys for the invite. It's been a lot of fun. I didn't know what to expect. It was my first time doing anything like this, so it's fun. I like it.
Good. Well, thanks for coming by.
Yeah. Thank you. That was fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks for joining this week's episode of The Bandit Room. Stick around next week and see what we talk about.
The Bandit Room is a production of Span Enterprises, located in sunny Rock Hill, South Carolina. We've been developing, supporting, and growing successful IRS e-filing and business management solutions since 2010. Go to spanenterprises.com now to learn more. The views and opinions expressed in the Bandit Room are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect or state the opinions of Span Enterprises. No information should be considered as tax, legal, or other professional advice.